If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not.
This is Ronnie O'Neal. He is a double murder suspect in Riverview, Florida. 4 killers who showed no remorse in court. In the courtroom drama that unfolded in Florida, Ronnie O'Neal III's decision to represent himself in the trial took center stage. As he cross-examined his 11-year-old son, the proceedings turned into a heart-wrenching and highly unusual spectacle. The young boy's response, a simple and direct accusation, echoed through the courtroom. "You stabbed me." Ronnie O'Neal III faced grave charges, including the alleged murder of his girlfriend and their 9-year-old disabled daughter. The tragedy didn't stop there. He was also accused of brutally stabbing his then 8-year-old son, adding to the shocking nature of the case. To compound the horror, this series of gruesome events culminated in a devastating house fire that engulfed their family home in Tampa in 2018. In court, the surviving child provided testimony via remote video, recounting the horrifying events he had witnessed. When it came time for Ronnie O'Neal III to cross-examine his son, he asked a poignant question.
"Did I hurt you that night?"
The 11-year-old boy responded with a heart-wrenching answer.
"Yes."
The exchange continued with O'Neal probing.
"And how did I hurt you?"
To which his son replied, "You stabbed me." Earlier in the trial, on a different occasion, O'Neal vehemently asserted that the prosecution's evidence was full of deceit and falsehoods, labeling it as some of the most vicious, lying, fabricating, fictitious government you ever seen during his opening arguments. In a dramatic moment, he declared, "I look alone, but I am backed by a mighty God," gesticulating and pacing within the Tampa courtroom. The prosecution's case alleged that O'Neal shot his girlfriend, Kenyatta Barron, before brutally beating her to death. Additionally, they accused the defendant of killing his 9-year-old daughter with a hatchet and stabbing his then 8-year-old son, a young girl who had cerebral palsy and was non-verbal. O'Neal's defense maintained that he had acted in self-defense, asserting that he killed Barron after she allegedly attacked their children. Prosecutors countered this claim, presenting the surviving son's account of fleeing the burning house and immediately stating, "My daddy killed my mommy." Randy Moore. Randy Moore was sentenced for the brutal murder of his estranged wife, Therese Ann, a crime that left a family shattered and a community appalled. During the sentencing, Sheila Lynch, Therese Ann's mother, delivered a powerful victim impact statement, directly addressing Moore. She condemned his actions, saying,
"What you did to my daughter, Therese Ann Marie Lynch, was evil, hateful, and despicable.
You couldn't destroy her spirit, so you took her life instead." The gruesome events unfolded in November 2009 when Moore kidnapped, raped, and ultimately murdered Therese Ann, just a month after she had left him and filed a protective order against him. In a further horrifying turn of events, Moore also shot Des Moines police officer Todd Rowland as he responded to the distress calls emanating from the apartment the couple had once shared. Despite Moore's outbursts and interruptions, Lynch continued, urging him to read her daughter's journals, revealing Therese Ann's intense dislike for him. Moore also had the opportunity to make a statement before sentencing, attempting to justify his actions, but showing no remorse for Therese Ann's death. Judge Joel Novak, visibly affected by the proceedings, handed down a harsh sentence. 3 life sentences for Moore's crimes against Therese Ann Lynch, in addition to 25 years for shooting Officer Rowland. These sentences were to be served consecutively, emphasizing the gravity of the crimes and Moore's blatant disregard for the law. Keith Allen Ferguson. Keith Allen Ferguson, who was facing a life sentence without parole for a pair of killings, received a scathing rebuke from 46th Circuit Court Judge George Mertz. Mertz, while recounting the gruesome events of November 2014, when Ferguson fatally shot his wife, Tiffany Ferguson, and his father-in-law, James Weber, did not mince words. Ferguson, though initially interrupting with a single word, "justice," fell silent as Mertz continued, ultimately imposing the harshest punishment under Michigan law, life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. In reviewing the witness accounts and forensic data, 3 things are clear to me. Keith Ferguson is a coward, a murderer, and whatever sentence he gets is too good for him, Perot emphasized. Carla Seating, Tiffany Ferguson's best friend, spoke on behalf of the victim, revealing that Tiffany had lived in fear of Keith Ferguson. She recounted their conversations where Tiffany believed her husband would never harm her because he loved their children too much. Seating urged Judge Mertz to impose a life sentence on behalf of Tiffany's friends and family. Keith Ferguson's defense attorney, Kyle Trevas, acknowledged the inevitability of a life sentence for first-degree murder, but requested an amendment to the order, allowing Ferguson to have future contact with his children. Ferguson himself expressed indifference, stating, "Just sentence me, kill me, whatever," and emphasizing that he did not want his children to see him. Ultimately, Judge Mertz decided to prohibit contact between Ferguson and his 4 children, with the hope that the children might have the opportunity to write a letter to their father when they are older, should they choose to do so. Seating expressed satisfaction with the sentence, bringing some closure to the harrowing ordeal for Tiffany Ferguson's family and friends. Michael Swanson. Michael Swanson, who garnered notoriety for killing 2 convenience store workers in 2010 and was subsequently convicted in 2011, is now facing an additional 25-year sentence after pleading guilty to attempted murder. Swanson, aged 21, entered his guilty plea in a shocking incident where he slashed a fellow inmate with a knife while incarcerated at the Iowa Medical and Classification Center in Coralville. The second inmate involved, Michael Ivester, aged 34, had earlier pleaded guilty to attempted murder in late October. Swanson's criminal history stems from a tragic November 2010 event when, at the age of 17, he shot Sheila Myers at a Humboldt convenience store. On the same evening, he also shot Vicky Bowman Hall at a convenience store in Algona. Both victims left behind grieving husbands and children. Swanson was convicted of first-degree murder and first-degree robbery in the case of Sheila Myers. He had shot her in the face with a .40 caliber Beretta handgun, robbing the Come and Go store of $31 and some cigarettes. This led to a life sentence for that murder. In the case of Vicky Bowman Hall, Swanson also pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and first-degree robbery, acknowledging that he entered the Crossroads convenience store with the intent to kill her. Consequently, he received another life sentence. In 2013, then-Governor Terry Branstad commuted the life sentences of 38 Iowa inmates, including Swanson, who had been convicted as juveniles. These commutations changed their sentences to 60 years in prison before becoming eligible for parole. Due to the recent attempted murder case, a resentencing hearing for Swanson has been postponed indefinitely, as indicated by Iowa Courts Online. And with that, we've reached the end of today's discussion. If you found this information insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our latest content.